Come prima, più di prima, t'amerò. Per la vita, la mia vita ti darò. Sembra un sogno rivederti, accarezzarti, le tue mani fra le mani stringere ancora.
Whoa, I'm back at the Venice Film Festival after a few years away, and this year we have had the first world problem, although I prefer the term first world issue, of a malfunctioning version of the online press ticketing system, originally introduced at all festivals to enforce social distancing at these events, and now kept in place everywhere because it apparently abolishes the need to queue. Now, sadly, this year at Venice, it crashed utterly, leaving all of us in the critical community very upset and feeling the need to vent to people like you who don't care, which is kind of what I'm doing now. This year, I found myself walking past the legendary Hotel des Bains, setting for Death in Venice, although these days the building is eerily closed. I myself have been staying at the less than legendary Hotel Venezia 2000, right at the eastern end of the island, a hotel which screams 3 stars to anyone who cares to listen. I do, however, get this balcony and what is technically a view of the graffitied building here behind me, but also the sea, which you can just about see if you look through those trees. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stop whining like an entitled popinjay and get on with talking about the films. And, fortunately, the festival opener is an absolute belter. It's Noah Baumbach's White Noise, his adaptation of the cult 1985 novel by Don DeLillo, starring Adam Driver as Jack Gladney, professor of Hitler studies at a minor Midwestern college, Greta Gerwig as his anxious wife Babette, and Don Cheadle as Jack's Elvisologist colleague Murray. They are all traumatized when a poison chemical cloud, or airborne toxic event, causes them to flee their comfortable homes and reevaluate their lives.
They don't look scared in the Crown Victoria.
Yeah, they're laughing.
These guys aren't laughing.
Where?
In the country square.
What does it matter what they're doing in other cars?
I want to know how scared I should be.
Life is good, Jack. As long as the children are here, we're safe.
May the days be aimless. Let the seasons drift. Do not advance the action according to a plan.
This is a black comic apocalyptic reverie, founded on the tacit assumption that nothing can really go wrong. Or can it? Could it be that our preoccupations with ecological and other sorts of disaster are not played out in the service of rational preemptive measures, but irrational occult fears, supernatural inoculations against death? It amplifies not merely the book's richness as a period piece about the trendy 80s and 90s zeitgeistiness of postmodernism on the American campus, but how prescient it is about the fears of the present day. The horror of the airborne toxic event feels like an address to COVID and making uneasy, normalizing accommodation with the pandemic. And it's also about the growing ubiquity of information and interpretation, the availability of data which show one thing and apparently equally valid data which show the opposite. This is the white noise of ersatz fact, the fizz of bad television reception, in which conspiracy and fake news takes root, a particulate, formless blur. Jack and Babette's bizarre lives, a night's move away from reality, are too strange to be sympathised with exactly for all the Spielbergian family chatter in the kitchen, but they are there to be marvelled at. This is such a fascinating, invigorating spectacle of a film. That's it for the time being. I'll be back tomorrow for more film news from the city that I'm calling La Serenissima, although apparently other people call it that as well.